Chilling with your dad. Chilling with your dad. Just checking on these guys. Make sure they're good. Alright. Just checking on them before I start this video, making sure they're all good. So, wanted to give a shout out to Manuel. Ended up Manuel, or Manuel. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but I wanted to give him a huge welcome and yeah, tell him thank you for becoming part of the BergoldBully's crew here and family member. Ended up buying Gia. He did a request of saying, you know, why don't we hear a video about from the very start and beginning. And I have an older video kind of how I ended up breeding Grimlock and buying and purchasing Grimlock and breeding Mira to Grimlock and buying Mira. Always been a dog man my whole life. I mean, from the very beginning as a baby. I was a newborn baby. My dad ended up buying a Doberman. From buying a Doberman, his name was Damien. And over in Germany and Europe, Dobermans are very highly looked up to and sold after. They're one of the top bloodlines and breeds over there. So is the Rottweiler, but we're talking about the Doberman because that's who I grew up with. So with me growing up with the Doberman, let me set you down here. Growing up with a Doberman, I ran around. We grew up. He was a pup. I was a newborn baby. We grew up together. I was a toddler running around the yard. He would chase me. He would knock me down. I would laugh, giggle. I'd get up. He would rip off my diaper when I was running around in a diaper, running butt ass naked as a little kid, a little toddler. So, you know, that's memories and growing up. That was the start of me being a dog man. I love dogs. I grew up with them all my life, basically. Different breeds, different types of dogs, different time frames of my life. Whether I was back at home at mom and dad's house, you know, and growing up and doing my own thing and getting my own dogs for myself. So with that being said, ended up always the two breeds I loved was the Pit Bull and the English Bulldog. The reason I used to skateboard growing up on the East Coast in New Jersey, used to snowboard, surf, and skate. If I wasn't surfing, I was skateboarding. Wintertime, I couldn't do those. I was snowboarding. So I rode boards. They were always under my feet. I loved it. It was, you know, my thing. It was my thing. I enjoyed it. So with that being said, growing up on the East Coast, DMX was, you know, one of the top rappers, making badass music. His mentality, his personality, who he was, he did not take shit off nobody. He stood his ground. He was, basically a role model on one of my top 10 artists growing up. If I can make a top 10 rapping artist category, he's up there. He had a passion and love for pit bulls. With that being said, on the East Coast, pit bulls was a sought after, you know, look, desire, feature dog out there on the East Coast most of my whole life growing up. A lot of DMX's pit bulls, if you watch the development of what he was buying best of the best. You could see where they were getting more bullier. You could see where the American bully movement of breeding the pit bull on a bigger, stockier frame of body mass, head size, shape, muscle, getting ripped up and getting bullier and bigger. It was already in the movement, but I didn't know that back then. My best friend's brother-in-law, his older sister's boyfriend at the time before they got married, he ended up having show dogs. He had a beautiful male that was winning trophies, ribbons, you know, and a female he was showing. So that was already an inspiration of me, you know, seeing these beautiful dogs, these beautiful pits that were getting big and was the first development in that time frame of what the American Bully was going to become in the future before the American Bully was even known. Um, at that time frame, they were just big badass pits. From there, loved them. I love the English Bulldog. English Bulldog skateboarded, and ended up when I seen that happening, I was like, that's one of the coolest dogs. I already loved the look and the feature of the English Bulldog, but he skateboards too. That just makes him more badass in my category. So with those two dogs being my favorite, growing up, being a dog man, those were my dogs. Both of them, at that time frame, were my passion of my two best dogs, if you ask me. From that happening, later, go years fast forward now. Growing up, like I said, always having dogs, me ended up finally coming across my first American Bully. I was a plumber, ended up working with a guy. He ended up going through some troubled times. He had to move, and he could not take Dakota with him. When I seen Dakota for the first time, I said, what type of dog is that? It has the features and look of the English Bulldog and the Pit Bull, like perfect blend mix. He was a pocket American Bully, y'all. And I fell in love with him. And he said, unfortunately, it kills me. I hate to do this, but where we're moving to, I can't bring him. From there, I was in the situation of where I rented. I had, the approval and okay to get him. So I ended up taking him. I ended up getting my first American Bully. He was a boy. His name was Dakota. I do have a picture floating around somewhere, probably in a shoebox or somewhere in the house, in storage somewhere. I'm hoping I still do have it, but the rest of my pictures were on like an old school flip phone. That's been years and years long gone. Of course, you can't get the pictures, off those. The phone had its time, it died. I lose all that pictures and memory. So that kind of sucks that I don't have it to show you guys, unless I keep digging and looking through everything trying to find the photograph, but I don't even know if I even have them anymore, have that photograph anymore. So getting my first bully, I loved him. He was awesome, short, stocky, muscled up, followed me around, played fetch and catch, very functional pocket bully. Would grab the tree limb, I would pick him up, and he would just lock on and hold on, and tail going a mile a minute. He'd ride around in my Jeep with my top down, and we went everywhere. He was my best friend, my buddy. From that, he had lived out a good and long life. He ended up passing. I was heartbroken over it. Tore me up. From there, ended up meeting Wendy down the road. Wendy had dogs. She is an animal lover herself. She's a dog person herself. We started dating. She had dogs. Kind of put me on the back burner of having my own dogs and my type of dog, which I fell in love with the American Bully breed at that time frame. And from that happening, I ended up, of course, falling in the rabbit hole, doing my research, checking out different breeders, watching YouTube, watching older, breeders. That a lot of them, a couple of them aren't around anymore. They stopped. But, Carolina Bully Farm, Carolina Bullies was one. Old school, back in the day, videos of Royal Kennels. It seemed like he stepped away, but now I'm glad to see he's back. So that's awesome. I'm glad to see, you're back making content again, because I always watched his stuff in the early stages of motivation. And there's a couple more. There's about 2 or 3. I can't remember them all, but the old school bully talk back in the day. Sit downs with people having interviews and talks and all that. Dax, of course, Dax was always been famous, always will be. Rocco, is famous, always will be. Right there, that's probably one of the best of my favorite American bullies was Rocco. I think he's actually on the shirt. Yeah, he is, y'all. It's funny. I'm talking about him. It dawned on me. I think I'm even rocking him on my shirt. Um, from there happening, ended up, having a bully, like I said, years and years and years ago. Years went by. Uh, you know, we've always been dog people, so we've rescued dogs. Wendy had dogs, like I said, when I met. We went through several different breeds and dogs and rescues, and always been pet homes to us, always been part of the family. Us being dog people and me being a dog man. From that, I ended up purchasing a female bully and started. She's always saw the passion in my eyes. She's always seen the smile on my face, and always knew it was a vision and dream of mine that I wanted to do. Just for the love I had for them as pets around me. For years and years, I always had that love and passion for them. I told her, one day, hopefully, that's going to be me on, what I was watching on TV. Hopefully one day I'm going to run my own program, my own camp. I'm going to have, all my own bulls that I'm going to build on my vision. And went down that rabbit hole deep. Always a goal and dream. It took many, many years for me to finally get where I'm at today. With that being said, I bought Grimlock. And I always loved the standard class and the pocket class. When I started digging and doing more research, there was so much dividance and controversy back and forth between different class breeders and owners, and saying one's better than the other. I always got told, on my vision, because I loved the pocket and standard. Those were my two. That's what I mainly focused on. So when I bought Grimlock, ended up finding him with the pedigree of standard and pocket in his pedigree. So that's what gravitated me to Grimlock. With that being said, ended up getting Grimlock, but rewind time back because I skipped a whole stage. Ended up getting a female bully. The beginning of this was not beneficial of working out for me. It heartbroke me. It tore me down. It stopped me to where I said, this isn't for me, y'all. Believe it or not, I did. I said that. I was tore up. I ended up purchasing my first female, looking into it, wanted to finally do a first breeding, got a stud. It was actually Grimlock's dad. Ended up doing the PG test, going and doing the breeding, and did not take. So I had to wait another 6 to 8 months. Ended up doing the PG test, got told it was a go time by the vet. Numbers looked good, went and did the travel, did the breeding, did the AI, then found out she took. And then off of ultrasound found out it was a singleton pup. At that time frame, all this was new to me, y'all. I didn't have a mentor. All I had was a dream, a vision, and goal, and motivation, and people I watched on, YouTube and on the internet, and the books I read, the bully magazines. I would look at and learn the best I could, trying to do my homework on all of it. It was a whole beginning stage for me. With that being said, I got told, well, it would not be a problem for her to have natural birth, being she was a taller pocket. I was like, oh, okay, cool, and having standard and pocket throughout her pedigree. I said, awesome. Time came where her temperature dropped 97, and she was not pushing. She was not having contractions. I started getting real nervous, called up Grimlock's dad, Ramsey's owner, and I said, hey, I'm getting nervous because she's not having contractions. It's been almost 45 minutes since her temp dropped. He said, just give it time, be patient. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer. Still no contractions. I'm pacing the living room. I'm stressing out, y'all. I'm like, I don't know what to do at this point, because to me, something was telling me it's not right. Something should be happening. She wasn't suffering. She was kind of just chilling, panting a lot, but not having contractions to push. No indication that she was going to go into labor. But I knew with her temp drop, she should already been going through labor. So I got on the phone. I started finding emergency C-section vets. I started calling. I started talking. A couple that were up in Indy close to me told me they're solidly booked. They didn't know when they could fit me in. I was like, this is a right-away thing. I can't wait any longer. From there, they said, well, you can come, but we can't make any promises that we can get you in right away. But we'll do our best that we can. I finally made another phone call. They said, we can get you in. It's going to run you about $3,800. Bring her in. Did not tell me any other circumstance. I thought I was covered. I thought I was good. I thought everything was going to go all right. When I got there, ended up getting her in there, getting her set up. I'm signing paperwork. I'm ready to pay. And as I'm filling out stuff, I was like, what's this form? They said, well, you're going to have to get her spayed for us to do the C-section. I said, what? They said, yeah. And I said, why didn't you tell me this before I headed on the road and came here? You guys didn't tell me this on the phone. And they're like, well, that's just what we got to do, or we won't do the C-section. I said, so I'm going to lose my female and the puppy and not have a chance of saving them both without signing this, and I have to get her spayed is what you're telling me for you to proceed to do the C-section? I'm like, they put my back against the wall, y'all. I'm like, this is messed up. This is cold. This ain't even right. Like, you should have told me this before I even got in the car heading here and rushing to get here. I would have went somewhere else, at this point, because there was still a couple other opportunities that I had that I didn't call in contact because I got told it was a definite and a go. Sorry, I'm getting sweat flies around me and shit and regular flies. I got traps up, but and mosquito bugs and shit too. Gnats and mosquitoes at night. But from there, that's why some Trio, y'all. Helps protect the bulls from getting heartworms from those mosquitoes. So from there, I'm getting off track. So from there, I signed the papers. I have to get her spayed. I lose the puppy. I'm waiting and I'm sleeping in the car at night. It took hours and hours. They finally called me. It was almost 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning at this point, and I showed up probably at like 10, 11. I mean, ridiculous. Don't ever go to Anderson, Indiana Emergency Vet Hospital. Don't ever do it. Don't ever do it, y'all. If you're in Indiana and, you're in a rush and a bind and you have no knowledge, like I didn't at the time, don't ever go to Anderson Vet Emergency Hospital for a C-section. Do not do it. From there, I'm concerned at this point. It's taking forever. I'm trying to sleep out in the car, but my nerves are so racked up, and I was a mess, like, on what's even happening. I'd head in there. The lady behind the counter, she left. She locked the doors. I couldn't get in. Not knowing what was happening. Finally, I get a phone call, and it's about, almost, 3:30, 4 o'clock, like I said. At that point, they tell me, well, we're going to have to keep her overnight, and the puppy didn't make it. I was heartbroken, y'all. Heartbroken. I was pissed. I was irate. I was already pissed that I had to sign papers to get her spayed, and now I'm getting told this. End up taking an hour and a half drive, hour and 20-minute drive home, or 19 minutes, something like that. Hour and 19 minutes. Tore up. I was a mess. Got home. Woke up early that morning. Tried to get some sleep. Woke up early that morning. I kept waiting and waiting. I wasn't getting a phone call. I finally called back up. I said, what is happening? Can I come get my dog? And I said, they said, well, yeah, we need to keep her a little longer for recuperation after both surgeries. Um, so I was like, all right, just let me know. I'm like, this is, yeah, crazy, y'all, crazy. The time it was all said and done with, I told Wendy, this is not for me. I was devastated. I was devastated. I was hurt, y'all. I said, this is not made for me. I'm not built for this shit. Was not a good journey in the beginning for me. Years went by, and then ended up kind of forgetting the whole ordeal. I was done. I wiped my hands from it. I realized that I wasn't built for that type of emotion and attachment that I got to these bulls and dogs, to go through that and deal with that. Bad experience, y'all. From that happening, ended up buying Grimlock as a puppy down the road. And when I bought Grimlock, then ended up buying Mira, and then we had Mira and Grimlock, and that's where I ended up really searching for. The reason I got Grimlock is because of the dad. I love the dad, and that's who I did the breeding with. It so happened to be where he ended up doing a breeding with a girl, and I knew she was close enough to me up in Kokomo, Indiana, that she dropped pups off, and it was so happened to be I was looking to buy another bully. Got a hold of her. I was super stoked and happy because of Ramsey. That's who I did the breeding with. That I loved Ramsey. There's a pic of him. He's up in Grimlock's bed in his background history. So from there, ended up buying Grimlock off her, knowing that it was a Ramsey son. So super stoked on that, and then Wendy ended up saying, why don't you do the breeding, get back into your dream of breeding. I told her, I said, it ain't for me. I said, if I got to go through that type of emotion and that shit and heartbreak, I said, and money and time, I'm good. That shit's not for me. So she said, I say we don't give up, we do it again, and I'm here to help, because I was working too. I told her, I said, I don't have the time anyway. I said that was a nightmare, what I went through. And then trying to be the only one working, supporting my family, supporting the four of us, only income coming in the house. So she's like, well, I'm here and I'm down for it. And she got my spark back. She got my motivation back up. She got got me kind of going again on wanting to proceed again with it. And like I said, it took a while. Started looking for Mira because I love the standard, I love the pocket, and I love the micro, because the micro came later on that I really liked. They were making some clean, nice looking micros. From there, those were the three classes I liked. I didn't think one was better than the other. I ended up finding Mira. It took me a while, but I found Mira. She had pocket and micro. Grimlock had pocket and standard. I knew pocket to pocket would go good together. The only two things that weren't mixed together, but it was pre-mixed already with the pocket classes, was the pocket and micro and the pocket and standard. I'd be pulling in the micro and standard genes and genetics in two classes all together, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to make BergoldBully's different. I wanted to separate itself. I wanted to do what I was looking into and researching, getting told by everyone, it seemed like, not to do it. It couldn't be done, is what everyone's saying. You can only breed a 2-inch height difference. That you can't breed, a 19-inch standard to a 13-inch tall pocket. That's what I was getting told. And I'm like, but it doesn't make sense to me, because I'm buying bulls that are pre-mixed already in the pedigree. I'm just going to mix it up a little bit more, and bring in and pull a little bit more that hasn't been there yet. Just a pinch. Get a little sprinkle pinch up in there, and start evolving and changing on what I want to build, and that is putting it together in the same pedigree, standard, pocket, and micro, and that's what I've done. That's what I did. That's what I do. You know, and that's what I've built my whole program off of. My first breeding with Grimlock and Mira was getting our foundation females, Octavia, Kiara, and Little Remy, off of it. That's how it all, BergoldBully's, got started. These are the dogs in the pen. These are Grimlock's old ancestry off his great grandparents and genes on to Grimlock's. And then here's Mira's pedigree, and Bull's and her pedigree and her genes. But yeah, that's kind of how it all happened. Long story. I'm sorry I kept getting off topic. I kept trying to remember stages. It's a long story because it's been a long road, y'all. Yeah. And now, yeah, BergoldBully's is what it is to this day. I ended up, put my 401k money, put, a lot of work, a lot of time, everything I got into it. So, yeah, it is what it is. Following a dream, a vision, and passion, and goals. So, yeah, peace out. God bless. Take care of the bulls. Keep them on a short leash. And till next time, y'all. Catch you on the flip side. So who's in your bed? Hold on. Let me show you. And this is only some of them. They won't let me fit them all.